Cue the music.
Let's spill a couple of truths here, shall we? That ought to be entertaining. Let's talk about this bullshit. And yeah, in the first 5 seconds of this video, I'm going to say this is bullshit because it's bullshit. I don't know how else to explain it. It's bullshit. If you want to see some bullshit, well, come on by because I got there. You get the picture. You get what I'm stepping in here. So doing this kind of stuff, what I do is bullshit. That's all there is to it. You get the One thing that kind of got me to thinking about this a little bit was a few days ago, I went and had a look at a fella's car that I'm going to do here later in the winter, probably springish, maybe even getting into. Well, I think I've already committed to do it in the spring, so I hope that over the winter things go better than they usually do, which they're probably not going to. Anyways, looking at his car, 63, I believe, Impala SS that he's picked up. Pretty solid car, not bad. He's got a 409 it and 4-speed it. Cool, he's a little old dude. So like a couple of the first videos that I did way back many months ago that 17 people have watched, unlike the 22 people that'll watch this one. I was working on an old Model A that I painted. An old fellow was doing it. His wife had passed away and painted it her favorite kind of a color, the car. It was a good, really good little car. Wasn't any really work to be done to it. But anyways, that's the first few videos that I did was this fella's Model A when I went and looked at his Impala. Never mind. Talking to him, though, we're talking about his car, and it's not bad. There's going to be some work. There's going to be some hard work. A lot, some for him, some for me. And then when we all wrap it up, I says, yeah, it'll be, whatever. I don't give him a price. All I tells him is I says, you know what? It's really easy to spend 15 grand, and it's even easier to spend 20 grand painting a car nowadays. Especially nowadays. Because out of that 20 grand to paint a car nowadays, now instead of it being about 13 or 1400 bucks worth of materials, it's going to be $2,500 worth of materials stuck up your trunk of your car, right up your tailpipe. So anyways, talking to him about it, and I says that, and he says, okay, yeah, I can get behind that, more or less, he says, but this is the good stuff, though. This is the fun stuff. This is what a guy likes doing. And I looked at him, yeah, not so much. It's no, because what he's getting at is working on like doing his Impala, doing this Chevelle, doing this C10 truck that I got on here. This stuff's better, and at the end of the day, you've created something, you've made something nice for somebody, so it's something to feel good about. Yeah, no, not so much. Not for this guy. Maybe for you. Maybe for the guy with the keys, and maybe for the guy who has the shop with 12 people in it, and he's wearing nice clothes and clean all the time, and he's got his hair slicked back, and he's the guy shaking your hand and smiling all the time till he gives you the bill. Then he's the guy that you want to forget about. Those are the guys that this is awesome. This is, the end of the job, the end of the journey is where you get to sit down and eat the cake. No, it's not. It's where you take one foot out of your ass and you stick another foot in your ass. That's what the end of a job is, because that's the way this shit goes. I did a video a couple of days ago. I was pissing and moaning while I was sanding a Chev truck box. And here, I'll show you. It's painted. I just painted it yesterday. I don't know when the hell I put the video up, but I just painted it yesterday. So I guess to get out of the way first, so I blocked it and boarded it. It took hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and took forever to do it. And then I finished sanded it with a sander. And I know a lot of people probably think that you can't do that, you shouldn't do that. But I mean, here's our end result. This is what we got. I don't know. I think it looks pretty good. I'd already painted the inside before, but this side's the same. So yeah, the truck I've already painted some of the truck. It looks really orange in video. It ain't that orange. This is a really dark burgundy kind of a color. But yeah, it should be a nice enough truck. So, anyways, while I'm painting this truck, now here's a day. So this truck has all kinds of seams, right? These old C10s. There's that one there. There's that one runs along there. There's seams on the other side. There's seams that you got to seam seal. So the way I do this is I get the thing all ready to paint, and I bring it into the booth, and everybody's all blowed down, et cetera, really blown really well. I take a towel, a nice towel, and I, wipe the areas where I'm going to seam seal, get them good and clean. And then I tape it out, like on this. I ran tape lines so I can cut a nice edge along my seam sealer. And then I run my beads of seam sealer. It's the same as if I do inside a car, inside the door jambs, inside this truck. I did the same thing inside the cab. Run a tape line, run your seam sealer, pull your tape off, gives you a nice clean cut edge. Unless you want to melt it in with some, however you want to blend it in, you can do that if you want. This is the way that I do it because, it's seam sealed, so it's obvious that it's there, so you might as well make a nice clean cut of it. So I grabbed my tube of seam sealer, so I use a two-part seam sealer. Half of it's blue and half of it's clear. And it's made by Fuser. I don't know if you know who that is, but it's a two-component, so the stuff cures up. So if you have seams like this, or whatever seams that you have, if you have an irregular seam inside there, and you use a latex type, an air dry, not silicone, but your silicone type of a seam sealer, and put her in there, and then the stuff just air dries, well, it shrinks, and it shrinks a lot. And as it dries, it's going to shrink in around all those irregularities that are in your seam. Whereas if you use this catalyzed stuff, it shrinks maybe 1%. Like, it doesn't shrink. It might shrink a little bit, but you wouldn't even know. So when you get a nice smooth bead of sealer, it stays a nice smooth bead of sealer on the surface. So your irregularities that are underneath, they stay underneath there and they don't shrink into them. The other seam sealer is going to shrink in around them, and then your seam's going to look chunky and irregular. You want me to say irregularities? You want me to say that again? No, I'm not going to. So anyway, so that's what I done here. So I get her all taped out, and I grabs my tube, and I come in here to give her the caulk. And there's an L in that, so just never mind. So I come in here to give her the caulk with an L, and I do a whole bunch of it, get her going. And I notice when I'm done, really, I'll show you what I notice. So there's my caulking gun. There's the gun that I gave her the caulk with an L. Can you see that? What's that say to you? Nice, eh? You know what that is? Guess. Pretty obvious, isn't it? So you know what that says? Having that stuff there. Now, I went back to the store where I bought this stuff, and I took the tube, and I says to him, what the smelly hell's going on here? And they look at it, and basically they said, well, we don't make the stuff, and we don't put it in the tube. Oh, okay. Oh, really good. And then they told me that I'm using the wrong gun, because you got to use a short gun with these tubes. So because I'm using the wrong gun with this tube, whatever the hell that means, it's my fault. Huh, nice, eh? So I got to buy another one because of that. So you know what that means? That means that all my blue stripes that I put in there with that caulking. Now let me detail a little bit for you here. When you put a bead of that caulk on here with an L, it's blue. And as this stuff cures up, it turns a really light blue. Like, it's a really forward blue, if that makes sense to you. And as it cures up, it's like the same color as that paper. It turns a really light baby blue. So when I started, some of it starts turning the baby blue. But after I discover what I discovered, I pay attention to it for a little bit, and it ain't changing color. And that stuff only takes about 20 minutes to change color. Half an hour later, it ain't changed color. So what's that mean? That means that I got to come in here now on my surface that's ready for paint. And if you got a surface that's ready for paint, you treat that surface like it's already painted. If your surface is ready to paint, like you treat it like it's fresh paint, because you can't be doing nothing to it. It's got to. So, anyways, my surface is ready to paint, and I'm in the booth, and now I got a bunch of caulk that ain't going to get hard with an L. There's no L in hard, so I got to get it out of there on my freshly painted surface, we'll say. So I got to clean it out of there, and you're not like it's in the groove. It's a kick right square in the balls is what it is, right in the beans. Because I got to scrape it out of there with something nice. So I got to use like a soft plastic scraper. I'm only going to get so much out of there. And then I try using a degreaser, but this stuff is pretty serious. So I got to go at it with gun wash, with paint thinner, and I got to go at it quick, and I got to go at it in little areas so as not to affect my surface by soaking it with thinner. Long story made to the end of that story, that was my morning yesterday. That was a little over 4 hours it took me between the initial taping, discovering the shit was no good. Then I had to drive to town to get more product with a bill handed to me for $85. Because believe it or not, that tube of shit that I just showed you out there, that's $85 for that tube of caulking. So I had to run to town, get some more caulking. It's half an hour each way for me to get to where I get the shit from. So I got to go get more caulking, come back here, clean the shit out, let it dry out, go back over the box side, make sure I didn't wreck nothing, then retape it out, and then redo all my seams with the fresh sealer. So that's a little over 4 hours, all wrapped up, and $85 out of my pocket, never mind the money that I'm not making. So that sucks. That's bullshit. Remember how I started the video saying this is bullshit? Well, that's bullshit. And that's how your day starts. That's how my day started. That started at, it wasn't even 7:30 in the morning that I started. That's where we started. Right in the balls. First, as soon as you come out here with a coffee, and somebody boots you right in the beans. Nice. So that's how it started. So luckily, I mean, the paint work on it went all right because I had to two-tone it too. And I mean, there's opportunity for failure whenever you got to, and when a day starts like that, it's not very often that it winds up all right, but it wound up all right yesterday. Son of a bitch. So, yeah, that's kind of one of the things that led to this, that this is bullshit. Is it worth it? Really, is it worth it? For me, is it worth it? So like I just said, when I'm done this truck, if I ever get done this truck, it's going to get loaded onto a trailer and hauled away. And the dude that owns this truck, he's going to take his boot back that's up my ass. And then I'm going to probably be getting hard and heavy on that Chevelle that's sitting over there. I'm going to have to I'm going to have to keep up on it a little bit in the meantime. But I mean, then it's going to start entering this. And so I got to thinking back. And this kind of went along with the dude saying, working on his Impala. Well, this is the good stuff. This is where, when you're done, you got something here. No, it's, to me, anymore, it's not. It's just a job. And when you do this by yourself, it's a job that's hard. I'm not busting rocks, and I'm not moving furniture for a living. But when I got to sand the bottoms of these box sides and that wheel lip, and when you got to do stuff down there, and I got to get up and down off the floor, and same with that Chevelle up there. I've already put a rocker on, done a lot of floor work on it. You got to get, not floor work on the car, floor work me on the floor. Well, when you get a walrus like me, and you throw me down on the floor, and I got to get up and down and up and down, I'm going to bitch about this for a moment. It ain't easy, and it's hard on, like, I don't got much left. My ankles and my knees and stuff, I don't got much left. And a big part of that is been the cement floors for the last 40 years. I know it's my choice. I could have chose to be a welfare bum. I'd be in a lot better health if I was. But is it worth it at the end of it? I was having this discussion with my wife last night. For me, honestly, I do it because it's the job and this is what I'm doing, and I've really only got a few years of usefulness left. So I might as well keep doing this, because what else am I going to do? I don't want to go into town and try to get a job. I'm not going to get nothing that's going to pay me any more than $10 an hour or whatever minimum wage is nowadays. Actually, I guess minimum wage is probably about $30 an hour nowadays, isn't it? Dirty, rotten little sons of bitches bitching. They ain't got no stinking money all the time, and they make $100,000 a year starting out with nothing but their thumb up their ass. Anyways, I can't do that. So I'm going to keep on doing this. And is it worth it at the end of the day? For me, no, it ain't. It might be worth it for you with your keys because you got a nice shiny car, and I mean, cost you a lot of money and, whatever. But you're not the guy that, I mean, one blends into another. I mean, it's not, there's no fanfare, there's no fireworks. Nobody walks up to me with a top hat and a cane. There's nothing. It's, when it's done, it's done. Somebody says, "Oh, holy shit, I really appreciate that. That looks really good." Yeah, whatever. Get it the hell out of here, because son of a bitch, I got to get onto the next toilet here that I got to polish up and make nice. You know what I'm saying? And it's not even always just this stuff. It's like a few weeks ago, I did a Dodge truck. I did a bunch of work on it and did a bunch of painting on it, painted the front clip and stuff. And I had to use a different kind of paint. Well, yeah, I'm kind of sticking one to the manufacturer and to the paint supplier for not really educating me on it. I mean, whatever. It's the end result. It's what went down is what went down. By the time I was done that truck, it was charcoal gray, and I sealed it in gray sealer, and I put the gray paint on it, and the gray paint that I was using on it sucked. It was a different brand of paint, and it sucked. It's garbage. It sucked. I don't give a shit what anybody says. Unless you've used it and you've experienced it, you don't really have an opinion on it. I have an opinion on it. It's the first time I've used it, and I'll never use it again because it sucks. The shit is so transparent that they change the mixing ratio to make it thicker when you try to spray it on because it doesn't cover nothing. So you don't want to spray it on like that because it's going to go on like sealing stipple, your base coat, your color coat. Well, what the hell are you going to do with that? Now, it doesn't matter what you do. Now you damn near got to clear it. Then you got to wet sand your clear and re-clear it again to get it reasonably flat and smooth because it's so damn orange peely because your base went on like primer. So I painted it. I over-reduced it a little bit, but I put some extra paint on to compensate. Plus, I put a color underneath it that was the same to give it a ground coat. Well, holy shit! I don't know what kind of lighting you have if you do this. I mean, here what I got is I got these lights and I got a little LED paint light, to try to check for color and check for coverage. It's pretty damn bright, but ain't nothing I got around here is as bright as the big ball of fire in the sky. And I put this truck together and I rolled it out into the sunlight. It was okay in here. It was 90%. It was okay in here. Under these lights and with my light, it was okay. A lot of times if it's okay under LED fluorescent lighting or whatever, it looks better outside. I rolled that thing outside and that big ball of fire hit it and you could see right through everything that I did. The truck was two different colors because you could see through the gray that I put onto the doors for a blend. They were darker because you could see right through my color. And on the other panels, it was lighter because you could see right through the color. Bring it back in here, doesn't look as bad. Put it outside, it's terrible. I redid the job. I had to buy paint, I had to get the clear, and I had to spend the 3 days taking the thing back apart again, getting it ready for paint, and repainting the job. All that came off of my ass to do that. So that job was in effect for free. I spent, and it was over a week between doing it the 2 times that I spent on it, and it wound up being a wash because the money that I charged the guy to do it the first time, well, that's about what it paid me to do it the second time. So that makes it a wash now, doesn't it? So that sucks. Right in the balls. Is it worth it? No, it's not worth it. I would rather be a Walmart greeter. And if I was, I would fake a lower back injury so I could sit in a scooter and I would be, hi there, welcome to Walmart. And that would be me. And I would limp in, get in that scooter, and at the end of the day, I'd get off that scooter, limp out, and then I'd march to my car and I'd go home and I'd be happy. Happy, happy, happy. I'd be like that little, whatever, the little dog that bounces around. I'm a happy boy, happy, happy. And I would be happy. Some of my dirty, rotten, I mean, this sucks musty donkey balls. And that's pretty much all there is to it. So, I mean, that's it. Is it worth it? That's the point of this. Is it worth it? Might be worth it for this guy to spend the money and stuff because he's going to be the guy cruising in the car and whatnot. But at the end of the day, I'm going to have a whole bunch of problems with this. I don't know what they're going to be, but they're going to be there. And when you work by yourself like I do, and I'm not pissing and moaning about it, but I kind of am, a little problem like that is a big problem. A little problem like that is a big problem. The Dodge truck, a little problem is a big problem. Me getting the body off of this frame and putting this car onto a titsary, that's going to be a problem. And I'm going to be taking drugs for a couple of nights in a row when I'm done that for my knees and for my back by the time I get this thing mounted on the titsary, because that's the way that it goes. If I had more people working here, then sure, there'd be somebody to take up some of the slack and maybe make me $5 in the meantime while I'm losing 10. But that ain't the situation that I'm in here. This is it. And is it worth it? No, it ain't. It ain't worth it. But it's where I'm at. You know what I'm saying to you? So that's it. That's my little bit of a rant, and that's my pissing and moaning, and I got to get to work. So leave me alone, would you?